1 by 20 on the field. This probably has you confused. And that's what I'm here to explain to you because I was talking about this with a strength and conditioning coach the other day during the GPP phase. This has been one of my favorite ways to introduce speed work to the athletes, and it perfectly accommodates what you're trying to do in a GPP phase. So you understand the premise of 1 by 20, where it's a moderate load taken for 20 reps. So that way athletes can do multiple different movements and they can train the next day because they're not overly sore because it's a moderate amount of weight and they're doing multiple different movements because it's only one set of 20 reps. So let's say we're in the weight room, we did a goblet squat for 20 reps, then we go to a push-up for 20 reps, then we do an RDL for 20 reps and a bent over row. And you see where I'm going with this. We're going to take that similar process and we're going to apply it to the weight room in the early off season in that GPP phase, and we're going to be doing a lot of different movements for maybe few sets, few reps. So instead of just one set of 20, I guess it could be one set of 4 in your accelerations, and then it's a set of 2 each way in your curve run, and then maybe it's one set of 2 on your max velocity work, and then you're doing a little bit of change in direction work and a little bit of agility work. And you're doing this because you're still so early in the off season that you don't need an acceleration emphasis and a max velocity emphasis and a change in direction emphasis. You just need to get the athletes training and you need to dose them with some frequency. So one of the ways that I talked about it was, okay, let's do some acceleration work. Let's start with a 5-yard acceleration. You can even record, rank, and publish it, and you can have them start half kneeling stance going forward, couple on the right, couple on the left. You do it, one each way. So that's 2 reps going forward. Then you maybe take it to 10 yards. Still true acceleration. You can have them going half kneeling, acceleration, angles, horizontal projection, the whole deal. That's 4 reps right there. Now, let's get them a curve. So you did 10 yards. Let's go to 15 yards on a curve. Let's put the curve at the 7.5, and now it's a bend. So now they're running further, but they're never actually reaching true max velocity because it is a curve and they're not actually running max speed. Then from that 15 yards, you can have them do an S curve in the 15 yards. Then you can extend it to 20 yards. And now it's a C curve 20 yards with the bend at 10. And now they're running faster. And you could technically call that your max velocity work because they are going to be running really fast in the 20 yards. But you have the constraint of the curve running, so it's not actual max velocity. If you don't like that, what I've done in the past too is I've done flies with athletes, hands on head, hands on hips, or holding a stick on their back, where now they could do a 15-yard sprint. You could do it a fly 5 with a 10-yard build, or a fly 10 with a 5-yard build. And some coaches would say that's not a real fly. Sure, it's not, but the intent is there. And I'm giving you all those ideas because if you don't have a hill to sprint up and do your fly work that way, and it all just comes back from the fact that it's kind of hard as an athlete to not know what your exact 80%, 85, 90% is. So if you constrain it, then they can't run as fast as possible. There you go. So there's a couple ideas on how to do, from ACell to curve to max velocity. Now let's touch on some change in direction work. You could do this technically before you do any of that other work because remember, what I just said isn't that taxing on the nervous system. So you could do any of this change in direction work right at the end of the warm up, beginning into the speed work. They're in their 6, 8, 10, whatever number of lines. You could have them do some of the 8 vector change in directions, run 5 yards, change direction, come back. And you could do that, the 180s, you could do the 45 down, 90 both way, 45 degrees up. Now you've done your change in direction work. Go do the acceleration work, curve, max velo. Then if you want to have them do mirror drills as their, true agility work, you could do it then. Or you could do it right after the change in direction work. This is, again, what I've done in the past. If you had your 6, 8, 10, whatever number of warm-up lines, and they do their 8 vector change in direction, well, now you just say, hey, line 1, face line 2, line 3, face line 4, and so on down the line. And now, hey, odd lines, 1, 3, 5, 7, etc. You are the offensive person, other person, you're the defensive person. And now you have a moving, forward and backwards, side to side, and you can constrain it. Say, you're only allowed to go side to side. Next time, other person leads it. Cool, we're only going side to side. Hey, let's face this different direction. Now you're going forward and backwards, and you're constraining it. But now you're giving them all of those different variables that they need to be exposed to in a general work capacity. Maybe again, you're doing 4 reps of all of them, but you're getting the general robustness with this athlete or group of athletes. Say you're training them 3 days a week, 4 days a week. You do that for 2 weeks. Well, now you've exposed them to it over 8 sessions. Now you probably feel a lot more comfortable at the end of that 2 week GPP phase, or 3 week, depending upon how long the athletes had off based on the recommendations during that protocol that came from the NSCA and the CSCCA, so you can safely know that you've prepared the athletes. That's what this is all about, making sure you've safely prepared the athletes. You can do the same thing with your jump training. Within the jump training, the terminology that I used from Mike Chapman and what he taught me from Gary Gray in the Applied Functional Science, you may or may not know what it is or disagree with me. That's completely fine. But just know what your terminology will be and be on the same page with your assistant coaches and your athletic trainer so you can progress and regress and everybody knows what's going on. For us, and what I've done in the past and what I still do now, jump is double leg takeoff to double leg land. And obviously you can do that up and down. You can do it forward. You can do it backwards. You can do it right and left and rotational. You can have a leap. So that's a single leg takeoff, landing on the opposite leg. Most people call that a bound. I just call it a leap, because that's what I learned from Chapman in the Applied Functional Science, and I like it. It works well, because when most people think bounding, they either think maybe side to side or completely forward, but I like the word leap because you can leap rotational, you can leap 45 degrees forward, you can leap backwards, you can leap medial, not really lateral, I guess you could. Then you have your hop, single leg takeoff, single leg land. Again, forward, backwards, right, left, rotational, medial, lateral. You got them all with your hops, single leg land, takeoff, land on the same single leg. A jop would be a jump to hop. So take off on 2, land on 1. You do that forward, you do that backwards, you do it right, you do it left. You can do it rotational. Then you can do a reverse jop. So single leg takeoff, double leg land. You can do that forward, backwards, right? You see my point. And then you can also change the ground contact. So catching it, doing a bounce, and going continuous. And I'm telling you all of this because you can then take those categories of jump, hop, leap, jop, reverse jop, and then you can program it forward, backwards, sideways, rotational, change the ground contact over that 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however many days you have with the athlete. And now at the end of this GPP phase, you've done some 1x20 stuff in the weight room, and they've gone through all these different ranges of motion, and they've done, they've gone up, down, rotational, lateral, all the different stressors on their muscles, tendons, ligaments, fascia. Done it in the weight room. You've also done it on the field, and they've done tons of acceleration, curve, change in direction, mirror drills, and they've jumped, they've hopped, they've leaped, and they've done it all different directions. So again, you know that this is a robust athlete for the last 3 weeks. Well, now you can start pouring those direct stressors on them. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about, of sleeping better at night, knowing that you prepared the athlete for the stressors that is going to be placed on them. You now can feel confident going into a heavy acceleration focus where the loads are heavy and it's high speeds, because they've been robust and prepared going into it. So that is why early off season, I like doing this 1x20 on the field, whether it's jumping, sprinting, whatever it is. Use it yourself. There's not an exact science to it because it's going to depend on you, the athletes you have, the facilities you have, the coaching staff, all of those things. If you want individualized help with this and you're a Strength Coach Network member, email us, service@strengthcoachnetwork.com, and that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to help mentor you. You can also ask questions in the member-only forum. If you are not a member, you need to be a member for me to give you this individualized advice. Sign up for a membership, strengthcoachnetwork.com. Get in a premium membership. This premium membership will give you access to performance coaching 101, 102, or 103, depending on how long you keep your membership. And those courses come with CEUs to the NSCA and to the CSCCA. You are easily able to earn CEUs from the convenience of your home and learn from some of the best coaches in the world and be mentored in the process. Oh, by the way, the price is best dollar for value while you're learning from the best coaches. So, strengthcoachnetwork.com. If you are not a member, I'd love to help you out with some individualized mentoring. Sign up, and I'll see you on the other side. Get CEUs faster, cheaper, and more convenient than ever before with Strength Coach Network. Hey, it's Justin here to tell you about how Strength Coach Network can now help you out with our premium membership and CEUs to the NSCA and CSCCA. Upon signing up for our premium membership, you will get 2.0 or 10 CEUs immediately. That is an entire year's worth of CEUs that you are able to access from the convenience of your office. No traveling for conferences, no waiting on flights, no eating out, no expensive hotels. Just the good stuff from great coaches. Now, if you need extra CEUs for past years during the reporting period, we can bundle Fundamentals 1 or 2, which also come with 2.0 or 10 CEUs to your purchase. That way, you're able to take care of your CEUs for the best price, most convenient, and learn from some of the best coaches. If you want more help with this, email us at service@Strength Coach Network or visit us at strengthcoachnetwork.com, and I would be delighted to help you out.